G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to the next turn of Mansion of Madness. This is second edition, and we are in Tabletop Simulator. Now, we kind of know what's going on. Basically, Wheatley's been sort of infected by the colour from outer space, and he's been going mad, trying to communicating with this otherworldly creature, and he's been trying to summon them into this world, and that's what that... You know how those Mythos events that are... some invisible creatures been attacking us? Well, that's the monster sort of coming and phasing half into this world. Now, he's also been sort of experimenting on creatures, like building things basically in his weird laboratory and dungeon. And the idea here is actually pretty cool. Basically, the bodies are kind of like keys to the other universe. It's like it's easier to summon the monsters if there's something that they can kind of fit into, So he's been trying to basically create out of living flesh these monsters to make it easier for him to summon this creature that he's in love with. But the problem is he's been summoning all this other batshit crazy stuff instead. So we got to put a stop to that. Now, there's two little corrections. Basically, these guys are both days, but you discard the daze tokens at the end of your turn, so they're actually not dazed anymore. Now let's get into this. So Agatha Crane is in an absolute state. She's wounded and she's insane, so I don't know what we're going to do with her, but we're going to start with Harvey. Now Harvey's going to go 1, 2 into this zone. And while he's in there, 1, 2, 3, he's going to use his ability to give one clue to an investigator of his choice. And he's going to give a clue to Agatha, because, like I said, she's almost dead. So we really want to just basically give her clues so she can survive the Mythos events. And that's the end of his turn. So he is done. Now we'll do Agatha. Agatha's just going to try and open this thing here. What's she got? She's got evidence and evidence. Right, so let's do that. Klickarunski. A small bundle has been left on the riverbank. Twine holding the oiled leather together closed with swollen knots. Search. The knots holding the pack closed have been swollen together by mist from the rapids. You attempt to untie the knotted twine. Roll 2 extra dice if you have a bladed weapon. Okay, so she definitely has no bladed weapon. And her agility is 3. So, what you got for us? Ugh. Terrible. Okay, so she's just going to roll again. Ridiculously terrible. Can't even pump it. Okay, so that's the end of her move. She doesn't do very well. Next, what are we going to do next? Let's activate Vincent. Vincent. So he's cleared everyone of health except himself, basically. I think he's just going to, for starters, he's going to open this site token. I think he got 1. It's difficult to gain purchase on the oiled leather, now slick with river spray. So which one of our guys actually has the dagger? It's Kate. This one here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 3. There's no way she's getting back there. This is when you need Duke. Okay, so yeah, let's click on this sucker. The ground slopes steadily higher in this direction. An investigator in the forest can reveal the adjacent area. Whoa. Out of the forest rises a steep hill capped with a strange circle of standing stones. Discard the site token and place the ritual site and the graveyard 2 sites. Okay, so let's grab that sucker. Right, click. A few graves sit at the foot of Sentinel Hill, headstones unmarked and recently toppled by something large passing through. Place a search token. Bam. Down one side of Sentinel Hill is a dark streak, as if death drew his finger along the grass here. Place a search token as indicated. What am I doing? This isn't even the right. In the center of the ring of standing stones is an altar. Something upon the altar is glowing violet. Place a thingo, whatever. Wink. That's it. Okay. Now that was a free action, so he's still got 2 actions. So I think it's time for us to start moving moving down. So he's going to go 1, 2, and he's going to access this one here. So click. A hunter's gun and a smashed canteen have been left in the fallen leaves beneath a toppled tree. The gun could not have been here long, since the barrel is still hot to the touch. You are certain that several rounds were fired just prior to the gun being discarded. Gain the carbine rifle common item, then discard... Oh, that's pretty cool. We don't even need to roll for it. Excellente. Okay, so this is... Whoa! 5 damage. You cannot attack a monster in your space, so we've got to be at range. Wow. 5 damage. That's what I like to see. Okay, for our next turn, what's this to do? Another investigator within range may discard 1 face down horror. That's pretty awesome. That is... We're not doing too well on the horror, especially this guy. He's got 2 horror. Everyone else is pretty much free of horror at the moment, so that's not a high priority. I think what she's going to do is just go 1, 2, and while she's doing that, she's going to pick up this item here, or whatever this thing is. Someone left an enormous footprint in the soft loam of the meadow. Whatever left this track left it recently. Gain 1 clue. Okay. This is pretty weird. We're not even having to do rolls. Still, clues are good. Now, that leaves just Goldberg as the only person who hasn't gone. I guess she can go... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Goldberg goes to here. So Goldberg's going to go there, and she, because she was here... Wait up. Hang on. Goldberg's here, right? 1, 2... No, she can't do it. Yeah, okay. So Goldberg's just going to go... I guess she's going to go 1, 2, and activate this one here. Bam. A hawthorn tree has had several branches snapped off close to the crown. The thorns on the old tree are at least 1 inch long, and the fallen branches are covered in a sticky grey ooze that smell of something long since dead. Suffer 1 face down horror and gain 2 clues. Wow. Okay, so good and bad. First we get a face down horror. And we also get 2 clues. Okay. And I believe that is everybody. So let's head on to the Mythos. The fire spreads. Now, I kind of wish that I didn't send the fire up this way, because then we could already be burning down Sentinel Hill, so... think that's what we're going to do this time. Oh, we can't actually just copy that because fire tokens are a limited resource. So let's just drop that in. You hear a cracked voice screaming into the night. "Ya, Yog Slothoth, ya, ya." Behind the voice you hear something else echoing off the trees, a moaning that seems to come from everywhere at once. Each investigator in an outdoor space suffers 3 horror. Law negates. Okay, law negates, right? Okay, so let's get into this. What I'm going to do is I might put these up like that. Yeah. Whenever you end in a space with another investigator, take 1 item at random. Okay, so we actually are in this place. So let's just do that. It's pretty hard to random these items because they're one of them's got a strange back, but whatever. Boom. Oh, she gets the rifle. Terrible. The one we didn't want her to take. Now she did that because she has kleptomania. Whenever you end your turn in a space with another investigator, take 1 item at random. And she's also got this, which changes her agility tests. Right, but her law is 4, and we're testing law, and we want 3 successes. Come on. Oh wait, it's 4, isn't it? Okay. Well, she gets 1 success. Let's spend a clue and get 2 successes. So she gets 1. Is it face up? Yep, face up horror. Yonk. Absolute terror. Resolve immediately. Suffer 1 additional face down horror. The only thing louder than your pounding heart is your desperate, ragged breathing. Okay, so that wasn't particularly good. Whoop. Forgot to lock this thing. And she gets 1 additional face down horror. Bam, bam. Next. Okay, so his law is 3 dice. Oh, he's got 3 dice here. Okay. Okay, he also suffers 1 horror. Minor shock, no additional effect. Excellent, that's what we like to see. Now that means he is getting pretty low. His law is also 4. Yeah, so his law is also 4. So 2 more dice. Oh, 3. Excellent. So that negates everything. And if you negate everything, the strange, horrific moaning doesn't horrify you. It just tells you what's going on. So we get a free clue. Excellent. That is going to come in handy. And finally, oh no, we've got 2 more to go. Her law is also 4. She also gets 3 successes, so she gets another clue. And her law is 5. What? Accidentally locked all those dice. Okay, so this is interesting. So basically, it costs us 1 clue to get 2 successes and no horror. So we're going to do that. So we're going to spend a clue. That turns that into a success, that into a success, which means we negate everything, so we get 1 clue back. And that's that. Okay, boom. Echoing through the night, you hear, Yog-Sothoth, who exists outside of time, aid your followers. The cult is growing stronger and bolder with every minute. A monster bearing a twisted appearance of an old Wheatley creation slips from the forest shadows, spawn a Mygow. Excellent. Mygows aren't actually bad guys though, they're like just crazy scientists. Boom. There's a monster. Let's see if this thing has anything special. Flying. This monster can move through impassable borders. The thing's crustacean-like body has sets of paired appendages and thin fluttering wings, and it's topped with a massive antenna in place of a head. Okay. The Mygo moves up to 2 spaces to be within range of as many investigators as possible, then it attacks the investigator within range with the highest strength. Okay, so this is interesting. Basically, the question I have here is, do impassable lines split locations? Like, is that one location and then that's another location? Or is that one location that just has an impassable line in it? You know what I'm saying? Like, so is this 1, 2, 3? Or is this 1, 2? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to say that the white lines or the yellow thick lines are actual zoning lines, and these dotted lines are just impassable areas within the zone. So I'm going to call that whole area a single point, which means that this to here, so Agatha to Mygo's only is 2 spaces, and this is going to be important. So basically, he has to move into a space. He's got 2 movement points, and he's got to move within as many ranges as possible. Now, he should be able to get everyone. So he is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he's out of range. He can't even get him in range. So basically, the monster doesn't have to move. Oh wait, this person here is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so 1, 2, and now I'm in range of 1, 2. I'm in range of them, obviously. I'm also in range of 1, 2, 3. Oop, my phone. Back in a sec. Okay, so I'm back. Basically, my brother rang. I went down to meet him for breakfast, and then I went for a swim down the beach. Came back and then completely screwed up my video by having a video playing on the other monitor, and because I'm an idiot, I just didn't think that it would record all that extra sound. So basically it sounds like this. Anyway, monster attack. Attacks the investigator. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of talk you through what happened. I'm sorry about this, and we'll see how if I can salvage this video, because I do not want to play the turn again, and I can't even play the turn again because this is an application, you know, that with the Mansion app doesn't allow you to save, so the entire turn is locked. So we'll see if we can get this salvaged. The creature flutters on diaphanous wings, then tosses a strange device like a mirror bound with buzzing bronze at your feet. Instantly, a flickering image of yourself appears and grabs you. Do a strength 2 test. So basically, the guy with the highest strength is the doctor. So he has a strength of 4. So he needs to get 2 successes off of 4. Now, what's happening here is that die is actually cocked. See? So I'm just going to re-roll it. It comes up as a blank. But we get 2 successes regardless, so that didn't actually affect anything. If you pass, you hurl your mirror image away and it flickers out of existence as rapidly as it appears. So, no damage. Okay, so now we just have to do the check for, what's it called? The horror check. Now, because this guy's movement placed him in range of pretty much everyone except for Harvey, everybody has to do a horror check. And luckily, it's about now that I remember to turn off the video, so we can get back to the original play. The creature shrieks, spasms, flips upside down, and then sheds its carapace, revealing a sickly, sticky white form beneath. A Will 2 test. Okay, so her will is 3, and no, that's agility that gets affected. So, you know, actually, having the carbine rifle is really good now I think about it, because you cannot attack a monster with your space, but with the flux stabilizer, a monster will never be in her space. Anyway, so I've completely forgotten where I was up to. Blah, 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 blah. Strength 2. Okay, so her strength is 3. Let's put these out a little. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend 1 clue and get 2. Suffer 1 face down horror. If you fail, flip 1 horror face up and suffer 2 face down horror. Yeah, so she's going to spend 1 clue and get 2 successes, so she passes that. Bam. Okay, next. The creature holds a jar in its claws, twitching at various scientific instruments arrayed along its rim. As the liquid in the jar swirls, you see a human brain attached to wires running into the jar's lid. Suffer 2 horror, mind -1 negates. Okay, so Vincent's mind is 4, so he gets 3 dice. Yeah, bam! And he gets 2 successes, and what was it? Suffer 2 horror, so he also passes. Excellent. And finally, croaking and clattering horrible sounds come forth from what might be the thing's mandibles. You are afraid it might be speaking. Suffer 3 face down horror, will negates. And this is Gloria. Remember, Gloria, we also have to do Kate, don't we? But this is the only guy not in range. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So, her will is 4. So, spread this out a little. Yeah, bam! Cocked. So basically if it falls in between those things, it gets cocked. When I rebuild this set for next game, I won't play the next game on my channel, but I'll get rid of these raised things so they don't cock the dice. Anyway, 2 successes. Suffer 3 face down horror. She gets 2 successes and she's got no clues. So that's 1 face down horror. Okay. And finally we have hers. She's got 4 as well. Skittering in a circle, the thing produces a dull leaden jar, then shoves a human brain into it with a jerky sudden movement. Suffer 2 horror, will negate. So this is basically the same check we just had, except slightly easier because we only need 2. Okay. So let's flick these out a little. Bam! Oh. Well, she's going to spend both her clues because we don't want her dying. Because she's already insane and wounded. Yeah, so that's 2 successes, which negates both that horror, and thus ends the Mythos. Okay, so that is that. I think we're in a pretty decent position here. We've uncovered most of the stuff. There's not a lot really else to do. We just got to get to this temple now. So just everyone's going to beeline to the temple. Did I think I did this, didn't I? I'll check next turn. I've already closed the mansion app, so I can't tell, but I think that question mark might have been done. Now, we still want to keep her out of harm's way because she's almost dead, so I guess she's just going to try going for this thing again, and he'll give her another clue before he moves out of range. Okay, well, that's that. Oh yeah, she got 2 clues. Oh, I'll leave it there for now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you guys